Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. If you watch my channel on a regular basis, you know how much of a fan I am of the Wacky rig. After all, it was the bait that I got my first national level win on. It's one of those baits that no matter where you go, you can catch bass on a Wacky rig. You can fish them pretty much from deep to shallow. You can fish them in rivers, natural lakes, muddy water, dirty water. They catch all species of bass. A Wacky rig potentially might be the all-time best bass catching technique on the market. Now, having said that, I'm always looking for better ways to rig them. And an interesting thing happened the other day. We were having a members only live stream, which, if you're not a member and you want to get more content from me, get more tips, have direct access to me, check out my members only page. But we were having a members only live stream the other day, and we ended up talking a little bit about Wacky rigs. And we got onto the topic of how G-Crack has a new Neko rigging technique and how I still have not used it. I've still got them on order. They're waiting to come, but I have not used them. But the members spoke and they said it was a very, very good way to rig it. Now, basically what it is it's just a sword-shaped spear that goes into the worm. It allows you to have the hook both perpendicular as well as parallel to the worm. Really good rigging process. Now, having said that, one of the other members, after talking about it, said, well, why not just take a centering pin, insert that into the worm, and then you can also have the bait set up as you'd like, or the hook position as you'd like. So I've been tinkering around with this, and I really like this. So I figured I would share this Wacky rig hack with you. So if you take your centering pin, which is an owner CPS centering pin, you can screw it into your Wacky rig wherever you want. So whatever worm you're going to use, if you want to rig it like a Neko rig, you want to rig it as a weightless Wacky, you just screw it in and you screw it down to the depth that you want it. Now, so in this case, I've screwed it so that if I want to rig a Wacky rig, and I'm going to take my hook, if I want the hook perpendicular to the worm, let's see, maybe you can see it. I'll try to bump it out a little bit so you can see that. You can see it. So all I got to do is take it, go through it, and now I've got my hook perpendicular to the worm, which is how I generally like to rig a Wacky rig. But let's say now I want to use this worm on a Neko rig. Well, in that case, I generally like to change the position of my hook. So all I need to do is grab my centering pin, and now I can rotate it to a position where I've got my hook. I can barely grab it because it's in so far. I can rotate it so that I have my position where I can now have my hook parallel to the worm, just like that. And I like to personally have, I actually did that backwards. I like to have my hook point pointing away. So if it's a Neko rig, I got my weight down here, the bait's going to fall like that. I like my hook point to be parallel with the worm, but up towards the tail so that if it goes down a branch, it hits the branch and comes right past it. Really makes it a lot less, it makes it a lot more weedless, I guess. It snags a lot less. But the whole key here is because you've got the centering pin in, you can rotate that to have your hook point in any position you want. The other thing that I like about this is with the centering pin, depending on the size you use and the size of the hook that you use, if you're fighting the fish, you can actually slide that up over your line. So in this case, this is a Mustad Titan X hook. It's got a small little eye on it so that when I rig this, I'll go through a little bit of the worm so that when I cast it, it's buried in place. But when that fish bites it and I set the hook, it's just going to slide up. And now my line is going through the centering pin, which is going to allow that to slide up and down. And because the centering pin is acting as a barrier, the worm is not going to pull through nearly as much. So instead of my worm cutting through the line, not cutting the line, but the worm cutting and my worm falling off the line, it'll actually just keep the worm on my line, take the pressure off the worm. So I fully expect this to allow my plastics to last a lot longer, because if I get that fish and it slides up and over, this is sliding up and down my line. You remove the weight away from the fish, the weight of the bait, which takes that leverage away from the fish, so they have a harder time shaking the hook. I haven't gotten out and actually fished with this yet, guys. This was something that spurred my interest the other day from a live stream that we did. I thought it was a great idea. I've been tinkering with it in the basement bait shop here, and I'm extremely excited to give this a try. So let me know in the comment section, have you guys tried this? Does it work? Do you think it, is something that's worth playing around with? Have you found issues with it? I'd love to hear from you guys as well, because right now I'm sitting here going, this is a great way to rig a Neko rig as well as a weightless Wacky rig. So let me know what your thoughts are, guys. I would love to hear from you. But just a little tip that came out of the members only live stream. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate all of you out there. Hopefully you enjoyed today's little Wacky rig hack. And if so, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and stay tuned. We'll have a new video coming out tomorrow for you.